Hey everyone, and welcome back. I am genuinely so excited to be sharing this particular explainer with you today. We're going to be diving into some truly fascinating source material together to explore a paradox that's hidden right in plain sight. It's something I think pretty much all of us struggle with, whether we actively realize it or not. We're going to look at why we constantly, almost obsessively, search for better days while we are literally standing right inside one. It's a deep dive into the art of noticing the life you already have. And honestly, unpacking this material completely changed my own perspective on my daily routine. To kick things off, let's look at this incredibly heavy statement. Most people think they need a better life. It's a punchy one, right? But it's just undeniably true. It's kind of the silent engine behind our endless to-do lists, our constant need to upgrade, and that lingering, heavy sense of exhaustion we all feel by the time Friday rolls around. It's this deeply ingrained belief that our current lives are somehow fundamentally broken or lacking, and that they desperately need fixing before we can finally actually be happy. But the source material presents a completely disruptive truth. They don't. They really, really don't. Okay, let's dive right into this. The text we're unpacking today argues something incredibly profound. People don't need an entirely new life, they just need to notice the one they already have. Think about how much pressure that instantly takes off your shoulders. Instead of this massive, overwhelming overhaul, quitting your job, moving to a new city, completely reinventing yourself, the secret might simply be paying attention to where you are right now. To really understand how this subtle shift works in practice, the author shares a brilliant story about a totally ordinary morning that completely flips how we view our daily routines. Section 1. The Better Life Trap: Waking Up Late and Burnt Coffee. So the author describes a morning where they woke up late. Now, not a catastrophic, oh my gosh, I'm going to get fired kind of late, just slightly off schedule. They went into the kitchen to make their morning coffee, and it ended up getting a little burnt. Why? Because they got completely distracted just watching the morning sunlight crawl slowly across their kitchen floor. Now, for a split second, standing there in this peaceful, sunlit kitchen, the author felt almost guilty, like they'd done something horribly wrong by just existing in that quiet moment without being, quote-unquote, productive. And then they caught it. That tiny, demanding internal voice whispering, "You're wasting time." The author actually laughed out loud at the absolute absurdity of it. Imagine genuinely feeling guilty just because your morning happened to be peaceful and undocumented. That right there is the trap so many of us fall into. Section 2. Self-improvement has a shadow: the cost of constant optimization. And this brilliantly illustrates the loud, demanding culture we live in today. It's almost entirely built around optimization. The message is just relentless. We need better habits, we need better productivity systems, morning routines, the latest apps to track our sleep, our water intake, the whole shebang. And look, to be clear, growth isn't inherently bad at all. But there is a hidden cost here, a profound shadow to all this endless improvement that nobody really talks about. Because if we aren't incredibly careful, we end up spending so much time and emotional energy meticulously chasing a hypothetical better life that we completely stop experiencing the actual real life we're currently standing in. We get so obsessed with the upgrade that we literally forget to use the current version. Section 3. Moving the goalposts: why you never feel like you've arrived. Have you ever noticed that the finish line is just a complete illusion? It's something psychologists call the hedonic treadmill, and it perfectly captures this trap we put ourselves in. Let's think about this in our own lives for a second. You finish a massive, exhausting project at work. What's your very first thought? Actually, scratch that. It's rarely a moment of deep satisfaction. It's almost immediately, cool, so what's next? You hit a huge life milestone you've spent years aiming for, and suddenly standing right on top of it, it just doesn't feel that big anymore. You finally buy that thing you really, really wanted: the car, the watch, the new phone. A week later, it's just stuff taking up space in your house. We are constantly arriving somewhere physically and professionally, but we are never arriving mentally. Our satisfaction is perpetually ruined because we keep moving the goalposts on ourselves, ensuring we're never actually allowed to be happy right here, right now. To really drive this point home, the source material shares a beautifully contrasting story. The author was sitting in a park one weekend, just quietly observing, having a very cheap lunch, just rice, vegetables, some tea, nothing fancy at all, no big agenda. Nearby, there's this kid trying to fly a kite, and this kite absolutely refuses to cooperate. The process is just this simple, repetitive loop: crash, run, pick it up, try again, crash, run, pick it up, try again. The author sat and watched this play out for 20 straight minutes. What was so captivating, though, was that there was zero frustration from this kid, zero ego, no throwing a tantrum because it wasn't perfect, just pure, unadulterated trying, entirely present in the effort itself. Finally, the kite catches a lucky gust of wind. It shoots up and stays in the air for maybe 30 seconds tops, and then it inevitably crashes right back down to the dirt. And how does the kid react? They throw their arms up and celebrate like they just won the Super Bowl. It's such a brilliant, innocent image, but it asks us a really uncomfortable question about our own adult lives. When exactly did we stop celebrating the small wins? When did we stop allowing 30 seconds of flight to just be enough? Section 4. A Normal Tuesday. The uncomfortable truth about the good life. We so often blame social media for our constant state of dissatisfaction. But as the text points out, comparison isn't loud, it whispers. You're scrolling and you see someone traveling farther, building their career faster, living a seemingly louder and more vibrant life. And suddenly, your completely normal Tuesday feels painfully small. But here is the truth you absolutely need to internalize. A good life isn't a highlight reel. It isn't just viral moments and promotions and wild vacations. It's a slightly rushed breakfast. It's taking random phone calls. It's stepping over that pile of laundry you literally keep postponing. It's pausing to notice the sky changing color while you walk to your car. It's throwing together a completely chaotic meal from whatever leftovers happen to be sitting in the fridge, calling your parents, reading just a few pages of a book before your eyes get heavy. I want you to really, really let this sink in. These mundane, everyday beauties are not the commercial breaks between the important parts of your life. These normal Tuesdays, they are the whole thing. This is the life. Section 5. The Art of Noticing. A simple habit that changes everything. So, the crucial point is, how do we actually break out of this trap? How do we stop deferring our joy to some imaginary future? Well, the author found a brilliant solution that didn't require downloading another complicated app or making some massive life change. They simply started a different kind of journal. Instead of writing down achievements or goals or networking contacts, they started a moments journal, just writing down tiny, tiny fragments of the present. Things like, the bakery smelled like cinnamon today, or had coffee with someone who made me laugh too hard, or simply walked home without headphones, heard birds. Now, none of these things are ever going to impress anyone on a resume. You definitely won't be putting them on LinkedIn anytime soon, but all of it is deeply real. Keeping a moments journal does one incredibly important thing. It proves to yourself that you were actually paying attention to your life as it was happening. Because maybe, just maybe, you don't actually need a better life at all. Maybe you just need to notice the one you have a little bit more. Think about the people you know who genuinely feel fulfilled, the ones who have that quiet, grounded sense of peace that we all crave so much. They aren't usually living wildly different or more extravagant lives than you are. The real game changer is just that they are actively, consciously more present in the life they already have. So the author leaves us with some really caring, actionable advice for what to do if today just feels boring or ordinary. And the advice is incredibly simple. Do not rush to escape it. Don't immediately reach for your phone or a distraction to numb the quiet. Instead, lean in, open a window, and just let the outside air in. Cook something incredibly simple for yourself and actually pay attention to the ingredients. Decide to take the long way home just to see a street you've never driven down. And please, if you see a beautiful sunset, just watch it. Try to experience it without immediately pulling out your camera and turning it into content for someone else to consume. Just let it be yours. I really want to leave you with this final provocative thought from our source material to carry with you as you step back into your day. One day, you are going to look back on all of this. And when you do, will you look back and suddenly realize that the exact life you were waiting for, the one you kept obsessively planning for and optimizing for, was quietly happening right in front of you the whole time? Thank you so much for joining me today as we unpacked this explainer. And hey, don't forget to pay attention to your normal Tuesday. See you next time.